Hi everyone, welcome back to this channel, which is all about supporting you in your self-leadership. Have you ever noticed that there's not one solution to all problems? The thing that is most effective to say in one situation can completely fail in another situation. We can't treat everything as if it's a nail just because we're really good at using a hammer. Life is dynamic, circumstances fluctuate, and that's why it's important to have something called psychological flexibility, the ability to adapt our behavior according to what is required of a certain situation. In this video, I want to explain what psychological flexibility is, give examples for life skills which need to be applied flexibly, and then explain 2 skills that we can practice to become more psychologically flexible. What is psychological flexibility? Being psychologically flexible means being sensitive to the context that we're moving in, and then to adapt our behavior according to a situation. This also makes it possible for us to maintain a balance in different areas of life. For example, sometimes it's more effective to be quiet and reserved, and at other times, it's more effective to be bold and outspoken. Sometimes we need to really focus on one thing, and at other times, it's more helpful to let our thoughts flow spontaneously. Some tasks need to be done with 100% accuracy, and at other times, we can have the mindset of just getting something done to save time. Sometimes we need to focus on our own needs, and at other times, we can focus on supporting others. What creates a difficulty in life is when we get stuck in one of these strategies, when one strategy becomes our default for all situations. Studies show that people who are more flexible psychologically and use a greater variety of coping strategies have an easier time dealing with the challenges of life. They're less anxious, less depressed, more satisfied, and they're healthier mentally. Examples for life skills that need to be applied flexibly. Focusing on the present moment versus the past or future. Sometimes it's important to just set all of our thoughts about the past or future aside and be fully present in the moment. Especially when we're doing something to recharge our batteries, when we're meditating or engaging in conversation. If we are always hung up on the past or future, we can end up missing a lot of experiences in our life because life always takes place in the present moment. On the other hand, sometimes it's helpful to focus on the past, to understand ourselves better, and to be able to continue to pursue our goals in the present. Or it may be helpful to envision the future and make plans for it. So none of these strategies can be our default setting for all situations. Rather, we need to be able to flexibly go back and forth between being present in the moment and looking at the past or into the future. Problem versus emotion-focused coping. Sometimes it's most helpful to take a good look at a challenging situation and ask ourselves what we can do hands-on to deal with it, what we want to say, how we want to react, how we want to organize things to deal with it, what we can do to prevent it from happening again. And at other times, it is more helpful to take a look at how we are processing the situation mentally and which emotions we are experiencing corresponding to the way we're processing the situation. Then we can develop a new perspective on the situation that is more empowering and supportive. Neither one of these strategies can be our go-to for all situations. We need both. Active versus passive coping. Sometimes we need to do something to cope with a certain situation. We need to step out into the world or step into our inner world and become active to deal with a certain situation. At other times, we need to be able to drop an issue, to, as Paul McCartney said, let it be, and trust that we'll find a solution even if we don't know how yet. And again, we need both. Otherwise, we'll become an overthinker or we'll be less proactive than necessary. Easy versus tough emotions. This is another set of skills that need to be applied flexibly. We need to at times seek out fun and easy emotions. And if we don't, we can really end up draining our energy. At other times, we need to also be able to go through tough emotions so that we can pursue our values and goals. And what can easily happen here is that we pursue an easy emotion to avoid dealing with a tough emotion. This can look like cracking a joke instead of really looking at the toughness of a situation. Or it can mean distracting ourselves with food or other substances or jumping into work. So make sure that the way you pursue emotions is oriented around your values. And in that way, you can pursue both fun emotions and easy emotions and go through tough emotions according to what your values and goals require. The 2 flexibility skills. Flexibility skill number 1, awareness. Why would someone hold on to one set of behavior rigidly throughout all circumstances? One main reason is because a lack of awareness of how different situations are and how many different strategies could be applied that would be more effective. So in step 1, to increase your psychological flexibility, broaden your awareness of what is going on. What is the context like that you're moving through? And what are contributing factors that determine how a situation plays out? What are different things that could be done? Just, become more aware of all the possibilities, so to say. This can also be achieved more easily if we get feedback from others or if we just seek out some kind of input regularly so that we can make sure that our horizon of awareness is really broad and broadening. Once we've done that, we can take a step back from time to time and really observe, take an overview of life, and make sure that all of our different needs are being addressed and that all the different things that are important to us are being taken care of. Flexibility skill number 2, an open, curious receptiveness towards experience. This is another thing that psychologists recommend if you want to become more psychologically flexible. To be open to the whole spectrum of our inner experience, of our emotions and thoughts. We tend to label half of our experience as positive and something worth striving for, and the other half we try to avoid. We push against it, we fight against it. And this is something that makes us less psychologically flexible. Pushing away half of our experience means that we won't be able to learn from it. And this fight costs us energy. And once we stop fighting, we can use this extra energy to become creative and to harness difficult emotions and experiences in the pursuance of our goals. Thanks for joining me today. Before you move on to whatever you have planned next, maybe you would like to practice the 2 flexibility skills right now. First, by being open and curious about the content that will come in the future on this channel. And secondly, by being aware of the option of subscribing to stay in contact. Having said that, stay safe, stay flexible, take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.